Well, good morning, everybody. My clock says it's just gone past the top of the hour, so we'll get going. My name is Steve Halliday. I am the president of the RAIN Alliance, and it's my pleasure to introduce our webinar for today. Today's topic is the benefits of using RAIN RFID in pharma and the healthcare supply chain. The webinar will be given by Frank Smits, who is the Business Development Manager for RFID Pharma and Healthcare, EMEA, and Intelligent Labeling in Avery Dennison. Frank will be joining us in just a few minutes to update you on the information. But first of all, I have some housekeeping things to go through. First of all, I need to remind everybody about the Antitrust Caution and the policy on collaboration and work product. Although there is no work going to happen here today, we just need to remind everybody that we are fully committed to complying with all antitrust laws, and that all of our meetings are held for the primary purpose of advancement in our industry. So we don't talk about confidential information or trade secrets, and we're always trying to be polite and respecting our other participants. But if you need to read the full antitrust guidelines and collaboration and work policy, you can go to that link on the page that's in front of you now. So RAIN has been holding a series of webinars over the last few months, and today's marks the start of our second part. We took a short break there in September while we sorted some things out. There was a lot of other activities in September, and now we're back. So today's webinar, as I said, is on pharma and healthcare supply chain. In 2 weeks' time, we will have one given by David Krebs of VDC. David will go through the RAIN market research report, which was released last night. Hopefully many of you will have seen the announcement that went out last night. You can go to our website and purchase this market research report. It's the first and only report that the Alliance has been involved in, and it involved talking with many of the Alliance members in creating the report. So if you're involved in marketing, you will probably almost certainly want to read that market research report. And we hope to have another webinar on the 11th of November. We're just waiting for confirmation of the title and the speakers, and we'll be announcing that one very soon. So for your information, we are recording this event. The presentation and the video will be available in a few days on the RAIN website. We will send everybody here and those that have registered an email with the links. You are all on mute, so you cannot talk to us. But if you have questions, then you can go to the bottom of your screen and you should see a Q&A button. You can type your questions in there. If you have questions that revolve around problems with the webinar, audio problems or video problems or whatever, please put those in the chat section. You might have to find the 3 dots labeled more and go to chat if you can't see it. But so technical questions about the webinar go in the chat section, but questions to the presenter go in the Q&A section. We will go through all the questions that are in the Q&A section at the end of the presentation. I need to remind you all that RAIN will be hosting an event. Engage a Game will be held in conjunction with AIM on the 9th and 10th of December. This is not just another set of Zoom meetings. This is a full virtual event, fully immersive. You will have an avatar and wander around in the event. You can go and sit down in the presentations, or you can wander around the exhibit hall, and you can have private meetings with your colleagues as you wish. This event, registration is open for this event. You can go to the RAIN website and click on the slider to get into the registration system. It's very inexpensive for the 2 days, and we hope that you will enjoy this event. So let's get back to what we're going to do today. Again, the benefits of using RAIN RFID in the pharma and healthcare supply chain. Frank Smits is going to lead us through this, and I am going to stop sharing, and you will get to see Frank's screen. So Frank, take it away.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. I'll start sharing. Well, thanks for the introduction. Well, first of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are around the globe. And thanks a lot for joining the webinar, where I will be explaining how pharma and healthcare industry can benefit from all RAIN RFID technology. We at Avery Dennison are in the business of unlocking new possibilities, really by opening our eyes and minds, listen to the market, and there we see ourselves as an enabler for the entire smart supply chain. And we intend on inspiring and building a better tomorrow. And this we would like to do with all our customers, all our partners, like yourselves. And to enable to do this, Avery Dennison keeps on investing in new innovative technologies, IoT startups. And as you might be aware that we have purchased SmartTrack, and with the integration of them, we're now the world's largest supplier of RAIN RFID labels and tags. We now can tag any item in the supply chain. Can be low cost, ready to print inlays for item level identification, for blisters or vials, up to durable tags for returnable transport items in distribution of medication or raw materials. We also now have a full range of sensor RFID tags that can capture additional information like moisture or temperature. And we also believe in teamwork at Avery Dennison. It's actually one of our core values. And we always like to work in an RFID ecosystem. So if you work with Avery Dennison, we will ensure we will deliver a full solution to solve your challenges. And making packaging and labeling intelligent is not all, it's just a start. We at Avery Dennison also deliver a back-end platform for Digital E to enable these full solution. And this platform captures all the unique digital IDs at birth during production and can be seen as a back-end platform for different software applications from all our partners. And then depending on the use case and what you as a customer would like to achieve with a digital twin, we then can work with the best partner in this ecosystem. So why did we set this up? We currently recognize in the pharma sector that brand protection is extremely important. And making sure genuine products are in your packaging is key for that. Patient safety is always top priority for companies in that area. And you also would like to know where your product lands and make sure this is done in the most profitable way. We as Avery Dennison can easily deliver the data for your dashboard to give you the right KPIs to see the company. And then with connected apps from the partners, we have already realized patient engagement, like with our partner Suku, for example, where we've done this recently for COVID-19 test kits. Have a look at our website later on to have some more information on the digital ID solutions. And especially in the current COVID-19 situation, where we have to recognize there are problems in the world, and we feel there's a potential for technology to solve these. And therefore, we also see ourselves as a solution enabler. We just don't sell technologies for the sake of selling technology, but we will keep on investing in technology that helps everybody. And we feel that there always needs to be a purpose for technology and invention. It should be used to fix and improve things and really create this world that's better connected and more in sync. Of course, with RFID, we also seek to prevent waste to ensure the demand supply is more in harmony. And well, just as an example, we know that 1/3 of all food is wasted. And I was actually shocked by the percentage, but we really feel that also RFID, RAIN RFID can be a technology to bring the percentage of waste down. And we also see that consumers and patients are getting more demanding on knowing where products come from, if it's authentic or not. And RAIN RFID can play an important role in enabling transparent supply chain. We also see in the current COVID-19 situation how important it is to track products to ensure you have the right quality products at the right time, at the right place. So pharma is nowadays a huge emerging market for RFID to trace medicine, to prevent fraud and gray markets, but also to enable authentication. We just have to make sure the right materials are used and we do not waste any finished products to create a better future world. So looking at some drivers for the global growth, we always have seen fashion and apparel being one of the fastest growing markets of RAIN RFID. But now we're of course looking at which vertical will be the next boom for us. And the whole pharmaceutical label market will grow till 2024 to $6.5 billion US. And when you then zoom into the growth rates of intelligent labeling and packaging, it turns out that in the next 4 years, healthcare and pharma would even grow faster than RAIN RFID and retail. So therefore, it's a really important market for us. And within the whole RFID organization, we join forces with other divisions within Avery Dennison. We have our label products delivering upon the demand from the healthcare industry for a wide variety of functional adhesive materials, many with unique qualities for highly specialized applications, because we know that medical tapes, films must be durable, flexible, safe to be used in a broad range of condition and combination, even in some cases within the human body itself. And Avery Dennison Medical Division specializes in design and manufacture of adhesive coated materials, private label medical devices for the healthcare industry. And the company's adhesive technologies and materials are then an integral part of products that are in daily use in patient care throughout the whole world. And we see that in pharmacies, clinics, hospitals, intelligent medical packaging with RFID labels can help itemize, sort stock to ensure the quality, prevent waste, and ensure patient safety. And that is then where Avery Dennison intelligent labeling comes into play. And together with all of us, we continually find new ways to develop products that eventually can improve patient care. And we, of course, were there in the beginning as Avery Dennison when automatic identification started with barcode technology, supplying all the right materials to print on, right adhesive to be compliant in the pharma world. And now we're in the phase of RAIN RFID usage, also NFC usage, but we also will continue to invest in new technologies. And you can think about printed electronics directly on your packaging, passive Bluetooth technology, like Wiriot we invest in, where identification and sensor data like temperature can be communicated without even a battery. Wiriot, for example, is not using a battery, but they generate power by harvesting power from all kinds of radio frequency energy like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cellular. And then the data from these tags can be read by any Bluetooth low energy device. It can be the smartphones we all carry around with us, or Wi-Fi devices. And so, as mentioned, they also sense temperature, but they also can sense movement, opening of a package, and a range of other things in the future. We also, of course, a full range of RFID tags that can detect when packaging has been tampered with and facilitate authentication, which is so important in the pharma world. And in the race to a vaccine at the moment, we also expect that fake ones will be introduced in the supply chain. So to protect the brand, it's important that you ensure patients get authentic medication. And also patients are getting more demanding on knowing what they put into the body and that they can trust this, know for sure the origin is okay. So Avery Dennison is ready for those next steps, and yeah, we will continue to invest in future technology. Well, and I'm sure that many of us already know that the pharmaceutical space is an area that is rapidly growing, both in terms of traditional label materials, but also in adoption of these new technologies. In the past couple of years, we've seen many pharmaceutical companies look into RFID to improve the supply chain process. And they are really looking for better track and trace solutions, as well as also improving the inventory process. Counterfeit pharmaceuticals, fake medications are a big issue at the moment on global scale. And they also represent a serious threat to patient health and safety. And in this world with such high level of drug counterfeiting, also hospitals need a way to authenticate pharmaceuticals, again, to ensure the patient safety. We also see in hospitals that they have massive inventories of consumable supplies with diverse expiration dates. And because of these, many products are simply thrown away, fully unused. And by tagging all these consumables with RAIN RFID, hospitals can not only eliminate manual labor, fulsome inventory processes that waste time, but now can reduce cost of wasted inventory. And of course, also enjoy greater inventory accuracy. And finally, we've also seen hospital applications starting to leverage RAIN RFID to ensure the right patient is receiving the right treatment with the right doses through the right route at the right time. So one of the questions I often get, of course, how do I get that RFID thing into a label? And yeah, the construction of a passive RAIN RFID label is quite simple as we see it. You always have your pharmaceutical grade face stock material where pharmaceutical information can be printed on. And then the RAIN RFID antenna and microchip are inserted into this traditional pressure sensitive construction. And that's of course the great thing about working with Avery Dennison. We and our converters can deliver actually all you need: face stock, the inlay, and the right adhesive. So what we see is that this whole healthcare segment has several applications in which we've seen active usage of RFID products. As you can imagine, there are different types of ROIs that go along with many of these. For example, authenticating a medical device has a much different need than tracking medical consumables. And you really have to take into account liability if a non-authentic device is used on top of the inventory cost for the medical device authenticity. Where supply chain tracking is really focused on supply chain improvement metrics. And really thinking about how an end user will use the technology, it's very important as it will inherently add cost to the label price. That's for sure. And then it's important to be able to start understanding the value of the improvement people are making to the process and how it compares to the increased cost of the label. And looking at all these different healthcare applications, well, one question I get often on the slide is, what about the smart diapers in secondary care? Well, I mean, I've been there many times years ago. I wish RFID was able to make these smart diapers change themselves, but unfortunately the technology is not quite to that point yet. But instead of the application here is really actually a sensor-based technology, for example, that alerts caretakers that a patient is in need of having the diaper changed. Very interesting application also, combining RAIN RFID with sensor technology. And we see actually two macroeconomic trends, the rise of e-pharmacy, connected patient, as well as the serialization security. E-pharmacy was barely imagined 10 years ago, but today it's really driving change at the patient level, where incorporated RFID labels can make the patient experience both interactive and convenient. We're seeing more and more applications where pharmaceutical companies are looking to improve connectivity. Well, you can imagine a world where your prescription came with a virtual pharmacist even. You can simply tap your phone to your medicine, have an interaction with a virtual pharmacist, and ask some questions. But for the serialization security, we see two important drivers. The Drug Supply Chain Security Act regulations are all part of a smart, interactive label solvability solutions. I don't know if you're aware of this Drug Supply Chain Security Act, but it outlines steps to build an electronic interoperable system to identify and trace certain prescription drugs as they are distributed. And many pharmaceutical brands consider non-authentic drugs to be the biggest threat to their brand at the moment. Counterfeit drug market is really the largest fraudulent market in the world. It's estimated at even over $200 billion. And it's estimated to have an effect that 1 million deaths per year. So looking at this all, my key takeaway here is that these and other trends will drive for sure further adoption of RAIN technology in the pharmaceutical and healthcare space. So visibility throughout the supply chain is one of the leading areas. Being able to ensure that medicines and medical devices travel through the supply chain as intended is something that many patients do not even consider, but is really vitally important. nowadays, drug companies are required to show the chain of custody, really from the point of manufacture throughout the whole supply chain. And the Drug Supply Chain Security Act is really driving the traceability requirements through every step of the supply chain. It will be incorporating more types of medicine over the next few years. And as we're making our way through the current pandemic, we all have seen how fragile different supply chains can be, whether it's with stocked out toilet paper or any distributed item. We see that RAIN RFID can be the way to help provide better visibility throughout the supply chain and also improve efficiency about how goods are distributed. And large brand owners and pharma realize they need to prevent fake products landing in the supply chain because of the patient safety, but also because of their reputation, and they want to protect the brand. And looking at medical equipment, there's a lot of on-site tracking of these high-value items that really had a very positive impact on the ability to locate items very quickly. I've seen in the past hospitals going from having $1 million crash cards for every single department to just one per floor that could monitor the card's location through RFID and real-time location services. So inventory management is another area of concern at the moment for the pharmaceutical industry. By tagging every stock medication with a RAIN RFID label, hospital pharmacies are simply eliminating the manual process of checking inventory and are able to keep electronic records of medicine location, expiration, recalls, etc. And then I always learned to say in RFID never 100%, but we'll say it's a 99.9% accuracy of your inventory you will be getting. And yeah, in real life practice, RAIN RFID tags were tested against manual input on clipboards, which you still see a lot at hospitals, against barcode scanning. And as you can expect, manual writing down the data was by far the slowest. And although barcode scanning was 2 times faster, it's still pretty good, but RFID was really able to top scanning data 12 times faster than any barcode scanning method. And we also know that, for example, pharmacy kits contain 10 to 20% expired or incorrect medications, which takes a huge amount of manual labor to find the items to replace. And a simple unique RFID number gives each product its own unique digital identity. And this unique identity then helps eliminate any human error and increasing this inventory accuracy, as every product can be accounted for using this corresponding ID number, and also enabling very easy expiry date management. And again, all of this for the most important goal, the patient safety. Well, we all know that recalls can be a pretty painful process for pharmaceutical companies. And yeah, many times the crux is really being a lack of an efficient interconnected system. And then when it comes to manufacturing, many pharmaceutical companies, they are still printing out standard operating procedure, signing off on training using physical documents, and really populating batch records by hand. And of course, all this manual labor introduces human error, which slows down the manufacturing and the recall process, and ultimately costing time and resources. So what it also leads to imprecise data, and that leads actually to pharmaceutical putting out way more from shelves than were likely affected. And using this Drug Supply Chain Security Act, many issues with the current recall system will be resolved. With the electronic system, the supply chain will become way more visible, and then enabling companies to identify counterfeit drugs far more easily. And the new system will also heighten efficiency, accuracy, as specific lots and eventually products will be identified in a recall, preventing also good products from being discarded. And RAIN RFID technology can support as no other technology the visibility of the supply chain, which is so much needed for this. So let's have a look at a few case studies where it's really used in real life practice. And in this first case study, we would like to show you one where RFID has enabled a fully more efficient supply chain. So medical goods are one of the most sensitive and supervised product groups worldwide. which means that any product tracking and management system must be completely reliable and proof against theft, fraud, counterfeiting. And Hanmi Pharmaceutical, being one of Korea's largest pharmaceutical company, employs RAIN RFID technology to increase the efficiency, to monitor product movements, and really to help them out carry out the government-regulated quality management. They already use RAIN RFID tags to track around about 60 million products annually. And it's really ranging from packaging to picking to shipping, enabling a fully automated process from order receipt to the shipment of a packed carton to a wholesaler. And already since 2009, the company has been demonstrating best practice in the handling of the sensitive pharmaceutical products throughout the whole supply chain. They started by installing an automated picking system to work with RAIN RFID, and then collect, box, and ship items without the need of any human intervention. Actually, the only manual portion of the process they still have is an inspection carried out by Hanmi staff. Actually, all the boxes come with a pre-encoded RAIN tag, which contains order information. It's then run through a shipment verifier. It's a conveyor, it's monitored by an imprint reader, and then the tags on each item and the carton are read, and if all tags match the order information, carton is verified and proceeds to the dispatch process. But then it continues. At local pharmacies, store employees, Hanmi representatives, you then can use RFID handhelds to take inventory information automatically. It's then wirelessly transmitted directly into the Hanmi central information server. And this analytics provides, of course, very valuable visibility of the stock levels and sale levels. The pedigree system they use, it's really used to manage the distribution of all the individual drugs between the production by the pharmaceutical companies and even to the dispatch to the hospitals and pharmacies, where they are then finally sold to the patients. So it can also prevent the distribution of health-threatening fake medicines and solve the problem of unlicensed medicines being distributed in this pharmaceutical supply chain. Also again here, easy expiry date management for Hanmi itself, but also then for the parties further down the supply chain, like the hospitals, the pharmacists, is now very easy enabled because everything is tagged with RAIN RFID technology. So to summarize, this solution really brings key improvements to the pharmaceutical supply chain. It increases accuracy, efficiency of the shipping process. They have greatly reduced shipment error as carton content is verified before it's shipped. The inventory visibility is dramatically improved, and with that the customer service. With each item tagged, accuracy, visibility of store inventory is greatly improved. You can reduce out of stocks, less labor effort, enabling efficient return of recalled items, of which we spoke about before. Empowering the patient safety. There's automated inventory now. It enforces management of expiration dates of products on the shelves, actually. So therefore also enabling preventing of counterfeit medications. And last but not least, the accurate forecast product demand. The increased visibility of the sales by product, region, season, it really raised Hanmi's ability to forecast customer demands and even anticipate replenishment. So there's a great video you can find online. I'm not going to show it for the time being, but it's a great bedtime story. Watch it after the webinar. The next case study is also in healthcare, automatically writing medical kits, also using RAIN RFID technology. Well, KitCheck, the leader in RAIN RFID medication management solutions, and Avery Dennison are actually partnering to work directly now with drug manufacturers worldwide to apply RAIN RFID tags to medication packaging. Tagging these pharmaceutical products in the way really helps improve patient safety by enabling more accurate tracking and also authentication again of medication throughout the entire supply chain. All with the goal of reducing error rates to nearly zero. And it also really eliminates the need for cost and labor intensive in-house medication tagging at the moment over more than 500 hospitals in North America. And this is an example of a partnership that provides complete solution for manufacturers, for contract manufacturing organizations that really want to implement RAIN RFID tagging in facilities that package drugs at high speeds, in line, of course, with the FDA current good manufacturing practices. And as well for hospitals, looking really for end-to-end inventory tracking. So how does it then work in the hospital itself? Well, when a used medical kit is returned to the pharmacy, it's being placed in the scanning station, and then the software displays exactly which items are missing and need to be restocked if any medication are nearing expiration, and if there are extra medications that need to be removed. It was a very painful process in the past, manual labor involved, which took about 30 minutes. It's now reduced to 3 minutes per tray only. So it really has reduced the error rates to nearly zero, and it frees up the time for pharmacists to spend time on patient care. So the solution I'm now showing, it provides really the downstream visibility for manufacturers, giving them the ability to track a particular drug from manufacturing to the point of use, but also the upstream visibility for hospital pharmacies, enabling them to know exactly the right drug is in the right place at the right time for the right patient, but also as well as where that drug originated. So let's have a look at another successful customer case in the healthcare, automatically reading RAIN RFID tag items in cabinets. Identify RFID is a RAIN RFID solution provider in Thailand. They have developed the intelligent cabinet solution, which actually combines the RAIN RFID capability and a cloud-based technology. It gives medical suppliers and healthcare organizations dramatically increased visibility into the inventory they have. With that, they can really improve inventory management, security, and increased efficiency. So first, every item in the inventory is applied with an Avery Dennison RAIN tag, and then subsequently encoded with a unique digital ID that is then captured in an online inventory system, and then it provides a full traceability. And then supplies are then all stored in the intelligent cabinet, which uses RAIN RFID readers and antennas to provide security as well as item level inventory tracking. And these readers can scan the cabinet's content at regular intervals and feed updated data to a cloud-based server network with the supplier's inventory management system. And with the use of this solution, full real-time inventory visibility is made available to the suppliers at all times. And the system can also send out alerts to any items that need to be replenishment, that have become dormant, so to say, by sitting unused for a specific length of time. And you can set automated expiry alerts. You can notify suppliers of any items approaching the end of the shelf life, which may then further enhance again the patient safety and reduce the risks. And in addition, users must also have an RFID enabled identification card. So not only any person can open this, and when a person opens it, it actually provides accountability while capturing also consumption, of course, of the various departments in a hospital. So with that, I come to the end of my story, my use cases, and I'm very curious to hear any questions. I'm happy to answer.
All right. Well, thank you, Frank. That was a great presentation. So if anybody has any questions, you can type them into the Q&A section there at the bottom of your screen. Just click and type your questions in and we'll read them. The first one we'll start with is, you have concentrated today on healthcare, and I think at the beginning you said that healthcare is going to be one of the biggest growing areas. Do you see this as being a major area for RAIN, or are there other areas that you're also looking at that you think will be equally as large?
Well, we took this, of course, from market numbers, from market reports. But healthcare is not the only strategic vertical we're focusing at, besides fashion apparel business. We also have an increased focus on food, logistics. So it's not the only one, but we have a good reason to believe that this vertical actually will be the next big boom.
Great, thank you. And as far as being able to identify things in the pharma and healthcare arena, RAIN RFID obviously provides a great way of getting to those individual items. But do you see that everybody will be using the same systems as they move forward for identification, the numbering systems, or do you think there will be lots of different numbering systems out there?
Yeah, you see different initiatives now at the moment. I'm personally a huge fan of using GS1 standards, of course. And I see also GS1 now jumping on this, making sure that there will be one standard in the upcoming future. But until then, you really see different vendors also using different serialization systems, to be honest. So I think definitely there's a role for GS1 now to come up with standard regulations, but also for the industry starting to accept these standards which are already in place.
Yeah, of course, we saw a press release from Fresenius Kabi very recently saying that they would be encoding their top 10 drugs used in hospitals using GS1 encoding and RAIN RFID tags, which is very exciting to see.
Yeah, that was a great example. Fresenius was very strict on that. They said, well, if I'm going to implement this, then it has to be with GS1 standards. And we need more of these use cases, of course, and more of these big brand owners to stand up. And then I'm confident that it will become a standard.
So a question from me, the Fresenius Kabi thing obviously was great, but many suppliers are not currently encoding at source. And so it becomes necessary to have either a mid-person in the supply chain or for hospitals or whoever to encode things on site. How much do you see as this being a problem for implementing RAIN RFID?
Well, I don't know if you heard about this initiative, Dose ID, because we see that hospitals really don't want to start tagging themselves. So they are really asking the suppliers to have it source tagged as much as possible, but to ensure that all the parties involved use the right inlay, the right quality. There's also this initiative Dose ID where, for example, also the Auburn University is involved, where you can propose their inlays and have them tested to make sure they have the right quality. And these are initiatives that we will see more and more, that actually the brand owners or the fillers of the material will do the tagging, so that there will be no need for on-site encoding anymore. And we have seen this in the beginning of fashion apparel also, the big brands started to tag items in their own warehouse. But I think in the upcoming years you will see that RFID will be a standard, and that it's on to be used by every step in the supply chain.
Good, that's great news. So again, if you've got questions, type them into the Q&A panel at the bottom of your screen. We currently have answered all of the questions, so if I don't see another one in the next minute, we will close the webinar. So your last chance to ask a question if you have one. Not seeing anything pop up. All right, well, in that case, Frank, thank you for a great presentation this morning. It was really interesting. You've got some great case studies that you shared there with us. I personally expect the healthcare arena to boom in the coming years. And in many ways, it's a pity it couldn't have all happened before the pandemic hit. I'm sure that would have been a great help to everybody who's involved in healthcare right now trying to deal with the pandemic. But thank you again very much for the presentation. For all of our attendees, the presentation will be made available to you very soon. You will get an email with a link to download it. Thanks all for attending. Thank you again, Frank.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.